Matt, you have been enduring Andor. Let's start Andor because that was the freshest for me. We're all caught up.
Yep.
And it was really interesting hearing people and seeing things. And I actually clicked a little thing on Twitter after I do my review because I always do my review cold, freaking crack of dawn when I'm half asleep. But I got through it. And my assessment was this. You can watch my video. Was, well, it's not the worst episode in the world, and yet I still don't really care. Like certain things kind of happen, but all right.
Yeah, you saw the one that came out yesterday, right? This episode 6.
Yeah, is that today's? I think it's today, right?
Yeah, or
yeah,
midnight.
this morning.
Yeah. Okay. It wasn't. So, well, you tell me because I didn't watch your review yet, but I saw it this morning.
Yeah,
woke up early to see it. What did you think about it?
Oh, that was kind of it. Well, they finally get to it.
Yep.
It's like we finally are going to have our heist, and so, like, I just felt like so. I'm like, by the way, spoiler alerts on my shows. Like, if you don't want to know this part, you have to kind of hit mute, come back in a minute. Just let me know. We are not going to hold back spoilers because the whole point is to have honest conversation. So every now and again, I'll try not to do spoilers, but got to be honest, guys. It's free for all.
Yeah.
They kill off characters that I don't care about. Like, okay, they killed only the men. They didn't kill the ladies.
Of course.
Right? They waste all this screen time with like the douchebag Empire guy being a jerk to his kid or whatever. And it's like, none of that was necessary. They waste a whole bunch of time walking around and dragging every scene out. And they give people like TIE fighters taking off, like loading and taking off. So all the stands can be like ooh and on like they did in Kenobi. And I just found it, to me, it's just so generic and bland. And it's like, we're at what, episode 6? It should be episode 3. We should be on like 3. If I could, like, I think you and I talked about, we could take the first 3 episodes and make them into 2, right? And 4 and 5.
Yeah, last 2 could be condensed into 1.
Yeah, 4 and 5 could probably be 1. And this is kind of like the start of the 3rd episode. We probably can make it another one too. But yeah, it's just tricky. It's like all this stuff that we're supposed to, I mean, everybody hyped up all that Mon Mothma stuff and all this other like stuff. And I'm like, none of it exists. It's so insignificant. I could care absolutely less.
Yeah. And then what's funny is all this character building that they've done for the last 2 episodes with Andor's little, guerrilla warfare people and the ones that die. It's just like, so I don't care. Like, I just don't have any care for them whatsoever. Like you said, the TIE fighter stuff and everything, some really good visuals. I will give them that. But other than that, what did I really get from it?
Yeah, I agree. I'm so not interested, and I thought that the problem they did with the little plan was they kind of said this stuff like everyone had their role to play, but then what's the point then? Like if the one little nerdy guy died too soon, would anyone know how to navigate their way out of this thing? Like he was the only one that knew how to run that machine and tell everyone what to do. Like no one else. You don't get the hint that anyone knew how to fly this thing. You get no idea how to read the machine.
Well, and Andor was a late add-on, so it's like, did they not know how to fly it before getting him? What was the point?
Well, that was kind of hinted at the one episode. Like, thank God that they got him because it's like they actually knew what they were doing. Yeah, the one girl, I don't know. I don't even know their names. The only reason I learned a little bit of their names, which I now have forgotten, by the way, because it's been like hours. When I made my thumbnail, I learned their names because I put a couple of little circles in. I actually thought about doing RIP on them on a couple, but I thought that was too bold. Like that was not on brand. But I've learned how to like change my thumbnail structure a little bit, and I thought, wow, that'd be kind of funny. So I'll wait a few weeks and maybe do it as a series finale of all these little dots of all the people, because the whole point is, like you and I've talked about, there's no stakes because Andor doesn't die.
Yeah. Then that's what I was thinking too. It's like, well, we know Andor doesn't die, and you spent these last 2 episodes making me try to care about these other characters that I still don't really care about. Like the one, again, spoiler, the one guy who's like, oh, well, he was a previous stormtrooper. So what does that mean? I don't care. Yeah. Or the one lieutenant, like, oh, he lost his brother or something. Or it was over a girl, wasn't it? He was mad. I don't even remember.
Yeah, the one black dude that works for the Empire, it was during the Empire's takeover of the place that she suddenly got killed, and that's what flipped him, I guess. Yeah, but there's a line about I've been here for 7 years, and then I kind of there's a part in my video where I point out like the barriers look like the traffic barriers that they have for like an interstate, And then there's like one little prop here and there's one little prop there. I'm like, in 7 years, you guys have spaceships and you didn't offload a whole bunch of crap. I mean, you filmed on location. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
But you're still on the cheap, and don't pretend that I don't notice, I guess is my issue. The slow burn has become like the fuse has gone out and they keep trying to light it and it burns just a little bit.
Yeah.
And I just don't, I'm like, I got a feeling these fireworks are never going off. That's how I feel. So.
Well, and then of course they had to show that the two females had some type of relationship together. Like that was very necessary.
It was. I gotta be honest. I didn't even mention that because I kind of like went because I felt like as a team leader that might have been more like, it's all right, hang in there, rather than it be more like, hey girl, it's okay. I actually thought they were going to kiss for a moment. I'm like, holy crap, they might actually kiss. I didn't really get too derailed from that as much as.
Yeah, it was
I
just
assume
more
if
of a.
Az, it just happened, right? I assume if Az watches this video, he will blow it into 10 minutes of his thing. Yeah, that's kind of that's his brand, right? He takes these, aneurysm responses to every little thing, right?
Yeah.
I can't even tell you how many times he's used the sexual assault word on discussing She-Hulk, and I'm like, okay, that's not really fair. Come on, you're really stretching with your definitions here. But yeah, another episode down. I mean, here's my thing. She-Hulk ends tomorrow. We're only halfway through Andor, and I don't really care any more than I did before. Other than, here's my biggest regret. Why'd they make Andor shave? Because he looked better when he didn't shave. He actually looks so less interesting unshaven. Like he just looks like a child. I don't know. I know this sounds so trivial, folks, but there's something about his acting. It seemed like he had a more gravitas in his original look. And now that they've cleaned him up and whatever, I don't even take him seriously at all now. I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
Well, and then at the end, when that Luthian guy was you could tell he was happy because the news is getting around that the heist happened or whatever. Kind of reminded me of Goodfellas, right? When he heard about the heist in the shower and he's, screaming his Jimmy's name. But it's just like, what do you do from here? Like, what really is this going to accomplish? Like, what major blow was this to the Empire?
Well, I think it was. And they kind of alluded to this in the last episode. It was about getting the money to kind of fund the rebellion. We're stealing from them and then we're going to reinvest it. It's almost like getting it twice because you're stealing it, taking it out of the system. But here's the thing. All right, spoiler alert. And I'm going to probably keep you from having to watch my video because this is like one of my big points was with the whole so what thing. The girls are still on the planet and the other black dude is still on the planet. How the heck are they going to get off the planet? Because the whole empire is coming to look for you. You stole 80 million credits. So this isn't like a little bit of a deal. This is like a lot of money's missing. And they have a board meeting of like, get everyone together, blah, blah, blah. So how are the three of them we don't know. That doesn't get explained. It's just
the only one did the other two black guys are dead, presumed.
One black guy's dead, right? The other guy, the Imperial black guy spot. He got shot too? I know the one that was a stormtrooper got shot. Mm-hmm. He's done.
And the other one got shot too.
Well, I wish I could tell you that I was going to rewatch it, but I'm not.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the other one got shot too, but I don't know. I know the only one I know for sure that's alive is the other girl, and she's just on the planet, just there.
Yeah, so. She's walking back in her disguise where the village people are. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, there's our Andor breakdown. Matter in it to suffer, so you don't have to. You can watch our videos, and I always tell you just put them on like 1.5 speed. I talk fast sometimes, but I think you'll be able to handle it. Put them on like 1.5 speed. Get through our videos, and it will save you time because it will still be less. This was a longer episode. This one actually was like 40 minutes or something.
It
was.
I give them props for trying to, I guess, feel like or to attempt something different in the sense because I just felt like everything was so goofy in the other two shows. But I just feel like it went a complete opposite way where the fans that did like the goofy stuff from Obi-Wan and Boba Fett are hating. So it's like a lose-lose. I don't know.
I saw people, it's hard because there's a law of numbers and Twitter just loves to prop up the stands, I think. Because there's just no way that you're getting these disproportionate responses sometimes. It's just very strange to me. Don't quite get it. So Joker voice, yes, we know. Joker says, boring. The only interesting character is dead. Great. Yeah, I know. I started to kind of like the little kid, and he's dead. He's done. And Mothma, you mean Nancy Pelosi, right? Tony Gilroy's words, not mine. I don't get that, by the way. I don't think they quite understand what politics are, because I'm not sure they understand who they are in this whole good guy, bad guy metaphor, because sometimes I'm watching it going, well, that's this part. This is that party. So anyway, Gap After Dark is here. Hey there, my friend. And then, we'll come back to chat because the lady herself is here. Magitek Mags. Mags, how you doing?
Hey y'all, how y'all doing?
Oh, we're so
Good,
blessed.
how are you?
Yes.
I hear you were talking about Andor.
Yeah. Well, we'll try to move on because
Yep.
it's like there's not we covered it, so you don't have to.
It's a good thing because I haven't really watched it, so I'm
Yeah.
I'm probably not missing too much.
Jerker Voice pointed out the one guy, the black dude's supposed to be a stormtrooper, like a reference to Finn. The show and Kenobi served to legitimize the sequels. Yeah. We know the backstory. We know it's all shenanigans.
And
so.
It's all roads lead to Jake Skywalker. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, they don't change anything. And this is even worse because it leads to Rogue One, so they all die.
Yeah, they all die. So in the end, it's like spoiler alert, y'all. Spoiler alert. They all die. Yeah. I mean, you can like certain I don't fault anybody for liking certain aspects of what they do present in some of these shows, because some things do feel like Star Wars to some people, but reality check is that all roads lead to Jake Skywalker. So I mean, that's always in the back of my mind whenever this stuff starts coming up. But anyway.
So anyway, some folks are in here making their different comments. Zach's commented that the 80 million credits they stole, if that was Biden inflation or not, I don't know. We don't get they never get that on nose with their stuff, because I don't. This is not the only show. Several of their things they think there's a metaphor for the Orange Man or left versus right or whatever. And then because I come from a more political background, I can analyze this and they'll be like, oh crap, we wrote it completely opposite to what we think we are. Because they never want to see themselves as the Empire, but that is how they behave.
Oh, so Mon Mothma is the Nancy Pelosi of the Star Wars universe?
That was what Tony Gilroy alluded to in some sort of thing. And it's like, but that isn't playing out. She's not a Nancy Pelosi like at all. She's like a meek, lost, insignificant person. Not the Speaker of the House. Like, it's complete. She's just, so at the end of this episode, she's ignoring her speech, and everyone is just ignoring her. So they have that the Senate scene. You know how they have like the Republic Senate scene, like the original the prequel series, right? They couple of the shots there on Coruscant,
right?
They have, and she's doing her speech, and people just start leaving and just murmuring. In reality, it's because the news of the heist has gotten out. But it was actually kind of funny because I'm like, everyone's just ignoring this broad. Like, this is crazy. She doesn't even get it. Yeah.
See, what I don't understand then, that means their continuity is so whack, because even in like Rebels or even in the Clone Wars, the animated cartoons, they present her as, a very, I wouldn't say a strong female character, but more like a character who happens to be female, who's very, assured in her own confidence in what she believes in. So I don't understand this weird continuity error. But anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, they haven't gotten into anything that is substantive of her, like as a rebellion. They basically, she just talks. The only context we've had, Matt maybe forgotten something, so correct me, is she bickers with the husband who sounds very pro-Empire. Yeah. That's pretty much it. Okay, so I don't really know that she's not strong-willed for the rebellion, because she had one little scene with Luthien, and it was more like crying over money and crying over not being able to move the money around. There wasn't anything
of substance that she,
yeah.
It's just like, oh, if I get caught, I have more to lose than you do. Other than that, it's like, well, what have you actually really done? We don't know.
So, that's a good point.
They don't tell us. We have no idea. So. And Chris says, moving on from Andor, because what little of audience it had already moved on. Yeah, I know. We're trying. We want to make sure we get through chat, though. Okay. This is the only property that is Ahsoka. I got to be honest. I am not a big enough fan that it's going to make a difference for me. So let's be honest. I don't know. So,
I think what he's trying to say is that there is an audience for Ahsoka, whether
Sure.
people want to believe that or not. But I guess maybe some people can watch it in separation. I think that's what a lot of these shows are for some people, like The Mandalorian and such like that. It's
Right.
People may be watching these things in separation or in isolation from the Star Wars universe, or their version of what Star Wars universe is. But anyway.
Sure. Okay. Abomination AJ's hanging in here. Awesome, man. Awesome. Rogue Attraction as well. Thanks for joining us. Let's see if I've got everybody else. Yeah, I care less about Ahsoka unless there's a Rebels ties. Yeah, it's going to be tricky. It is an excuse to have a whole bunch of, jangling keys, member berries, and stuff like that. But I don't know that I consider that I have any hope that it'll be, anything really referenced. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what these shows like. I'll pick out, like, for example, when the TIE fighter buzzed them when they were running, like, that was cool. It sounded good.
It was very cool. It was very cool,
and
it is a cool thing.
Yeah, I'll just take those parts with it, and that's it. I don't really like everything else is just kind of whatever. But those cool parts, it's like, oh, that was neat.
It's a shame you don't. Again, if there was this editor out there who wanted to like just sit with me and do a stream for like just an hour, like, we can do like a super cut of the whole season and make like one video of like 10 minutes of Andor in 10 minutes. And it would be this action-packed sequence where all these little pieces happen, and we can have an actual story that does something. That we could probably do that. I could have easily done that with Kenobi. It could have easily cut Kenobi into, 3 or 4 episodes of actually something happening. There was just so much crap wrapped around it. That was awful. It was awful.